Greetings, magical souls. I hope everybody is doing well out there. It seems that the flares are a little bit hectic at the moment. I myself have been feeling pretty tired and having trouble sleeping. So it's been an interesting first few days of June, that's for sure. So I've come on today to just briefly announce that I have made some changes to my website, in that I have been called to add an additional animal session, and so I've done this. I was woken early hours of my Saturday morning, and a lot of information came in, and it's taken me a couple of days to integrate it, and yesterday I made the changes to my website. So for a while now, I have been thinking that I would like to offer support for animals that are transitioning out of their physical body. And I really did see it as something that I might be doing in sort of a year or two. But Saturday morning, the messages came and were, this is going to happen now. And it's interesting for me because I know a lot of Reiki healers and animal communicators, that sort of thing. A lot of people in this world that work with energetic healing and obviously deal with animals, they do, I mean, I often hear of stories about animals being, sent Reiki just before they pass, or a day or two or a week, whatever it is, doesn't really matter. But I don't think that anybody kind of offers this sort of thing for this specific purpose. And I guess that was what was so interesting for me, is that when I was given the guidance for this and was writing down all the ideas that were coming in at 2:00 in the morning, I've always thought that this was something that I would maybe just go in and add to my animal guardianship sessions, maybe just change the wording and go, oh, and by the way, I also offer this. And what came in was that this has to be all on its own. It is too important for it to be blended with anything else. It needs to be a standalone session. So, of course, I woke up with the wording that is in every single animal communication book and a lot of the other healing modalities that I've used, where they talk about end of life. And as I was sitting there, I thought, but it's not the end of life. It's just a transition. It's a transition, a time between perhaps one body and the next, maybe, or a transition just, back into spirit. But I can't call it the end of life anymore, because it isn't the end. Our souls are eternal. So then I got stuck on transition, and it was a transition container, a transition session. There were all these things going on. And then I got pen and paper, and I just started to write down what was coming in, what these sessions should look like, feel like, how they're going to work, all those kinds of things. And in the middle of all my journaling, this beautiful word just dropped in. Well, this beautiful phrase just dropped in, and that was sacred ceremony. And I love that, because sacred is just, it encompasses everything that these things are. It is a sacred gift that you can give to your animal companion when they are about to transition out of their physical body. So I have added this to my website. It is a standalone session. They will be about an hour long. There's lots of benefits to them, which I won't go into here because I did want to keep this short. It took me a whole day to write the wording for these sessions. And because on my website, where I've got all the listings of all the sessions, I actually have a link to a deeper insight into what the sessions are, how they will work. And it's really been big. It's so big that I can't contain it in this human this human avatar of Emma as I sit here and speak to you. It is so vast, but it feels like one of the most important things that I'm ever going to offer to the collective. It's so, so important. So as I say, it took me a day nearly, probably maybe about 5 hours to actually write everything that I wanted to write, because I kept stopping and becoming a complete mess. A beautiful mess, but it was bringing up a lot of things for me that I wish I had done with my cat that I lost in January 2023. And I thought, how awesome would it have been if I could have spent an hour with him like this, instead of an hour feeling guilty, fretting, worrying. Was I doing the right thing? All of these things going through my head. I could have just been with him and loved him. So it was a really, really, really heartfelt and emotional thing for me to bring in to my space, my awareness. And it took me about 2 days to integrate all of this, because I was really grappling with the fact that one of the biggest reasons that I chose not to become a vet when I was younger, apart from the fact that it didn't resonate, but I did not think that I could be around animals that were being put to sleep. And here I am offering these sessions, which are a transition out of the physical body. So I've really been grappling with a lot of this, but I have been, the me sitting here talking to you is kicking and screaming and terrified. And the bigger part of me is just so excited about these. And all I feel is love, compassion, peace, honor. It's just going to be amazing. And so, yes. So I'm just sharing that. I've updated my website. I've changed a few things. I've dropped one of my other sessions off the website. It just feels like I'm on a path at the moment and I can't quite see the path. I've always known that animals would be my path. It seems like there have been a set of events that have followed and have led me to this place. And as I say, although I thought this would happen in many years, I'm starting to realize that the less I try and see my path ahead, the more it is just appearing beneath my feet as I go. It almost feels like there are steps lighting up, one in front of me. As I take my step, there's another step in front of me that lights up, and I gain insight to it. But the rest of it is dark, and I actually don't know where I'm going. And it's really quite uncertain, but it just feels like I need to just allow this path to unfold and stop trying to look down and go, okay, well, what's my plan for 6 months in the future? It feels almost like I can't make these goals anymore, and I can't decide. And it's not like I'm not taking action, but these things are almost arriving as and when they're meant to arrive. It's like I'm not meant to know what's going to happen 6 months down the road. And I realize that it's not lost on me that this is forcing me to be very much in the present moment and to just take one moment at a time and one day at a time. I don't need to know what 4 months ahead is going to look like. It's very much an unprogramming or deprogramming of the old me that, you know, used to plan a month in a year in advance, 5 years in advance. What's your 5-year plan? All of that is no longer working. It's no longer serving me. And I'm starting to realize the more and more I try and do that kind of thing, the more I'm just blocking the magic from unfolding. So the path is appearing before me as I'm walking. I don't even know where I'm going to be next week. But it's scary, but it's beautiful and it's expansive and it is so exciting. And I guess I'm just allowing my higher self and my soul to lead me while I'm still in this physical avatar. So, yes, that is my message for today. And I am going to end up with a magical quote today. I don't think I've done that for a while. So, I don't know who the quote is by, but it is, by choosing to be our authentic and most loving self, we leave a trail of magic everywhere we go. And for me, this feels exactly like it, that as I step into my authentic self, my unknown self, that really that everything is just unfolding. And I do hope that this new offering does leave the magic behind. So, and in that, by what I mean is that instead of, once the grief is past over losing a beloved animal companion, that these ceremonies, and this only occurred to me this morning as I was journaling, but these ceremonies will be something to look back on, and all you will feel is joy, love, peace, compassion. You will feel happy about the memories of your animal instead of, I think a lot of the time I know this is very true for me with my cat Max that I lost early last year. His going and the way he passed was almost the catalyst that set me to now almost go and now hunt down this animal thing that I've always been living and breathing but not doing. So, but in the space between him going last year and where I am now, there have been so many epiphanies for me, and so much guilt and so much sadness and things like that that I've had to let go of, and things that I wish I could have done differently. So I'm really, really, really sure that these containers will be a way that is how we will remember our animals transitioning over to the other side. We will remember that container, and there will be no guilt and no shame and no sorrow and no unhappiness and no wishing, what if I'd done something different? It's going to just be such a beautiful way to remember these really, really beautiful souls that we share our lives with just for a mere blip in time. So anyway, I'll end off now and wishing you all a totally magical day.